What's up, y'all? This is John, Mike, and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. As always, you can find us as a part of Millions and on the Fans First Sports Network. Tonight, we are once again changing things up a little bit. We are going to talk about a couple of games because more or less the games kind of went how the consensus thought they would go for the weekend. But we're going to talk about a couple. And then we're going to get into how each contender can make their conference title game. And if it's confusing for you guys, just think about me trying to do this research using 12 different websites and Reddit. Not great. So, before we get into all that and everybody gets a headache by the end of this, how have y'all been? What are you drinking?
Man, I am in pain. I mentioned to you guys earlier today, we had to go to uh, the birthday party of a kid turning 5 years old who wanted to have her birthday party at a roller skating rink. And I mean, this kid was good. Like, she's clearly been skating a while already. She can do tricks and everything. I, on the other hand, have not been practicing my roller skating. So it was just me and my daughter holding hands, falling over each other all afternoon. Um, So I got a particularly nasty fall on my elbow, another one on my bad knee, and maybe I should have gone to the hospital today, but I'm here instead.
Yeah,
And I'm
well, you could do both. Hospitals have Wi-Fi.
that
Works.
that fair enough. And I'm working on a cream soda. So what about y'all?
No, I'm good. After I'm drinking a Red Bull because after this, again, I have to do another project for school. But I think this is the last assignment I have until like midway through January. So
Nice.
no, there's no better motivation than having something to do in like 3 hours. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. But John, how about you?
Good. Mike, were you at Walmart today by chance?
I was.
I think we were at Walmart at the same time. Uh,
Did you just see me just wanting to be anywhere else but there?
I, I will say, I'm pretty sure when I saw you, you were in the checkout line trying to herd cats, and you had something wrapped around your neck. And I was just
Yeah.
like, you know what? He's got it. He's got too much going on for me to say anything right now.
No, yeah, no, I had my daughter's towel around my neck because we were about to go to my in-laws' house and go to their pool at their new condo. But no, I was trying to get my father-in-law out of there, and he just kept asking questions about why we're there and what we're doing and all that. And I just wanted to be anywhere else but there.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I'm glad I didn't say anything because it would have made it significantly worse for strangers to come up and talk to you.
No, I would have welcomed any distraction because then he would have just forgot what he was trying to get at. So
Um, no, I'm good. I got a lot of stuff done today. None of it was what I needed to get done today, and somebody in the neighborhood behind my house is just honking the hell out of their horn right now, so that's lovely. Um, but I learned or reminded myself today of why I changed the oil on my cars myself. Went to change the oil on my wife's car, and I took it somewhere last time because I was getting some other work done. They're like, "Hey, we see it needs an oil change." I think they said it would cost me $30 extra to get them to do it. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? It's cheaper than I could do it. They use an impact on the drain plug, and now I have to get an extractor socket to get the rounded off bolt out of the drain pan and buy a new oil drain plug because for whatever reason, even when I explicitly ask the shop, no Ugga Duggas, they do
Mhm.
multiple Ugga Duggas. And there's a part of me that wants to drive up there tomorrow and tell them to fix it because why why are you rounding off a bolt that is required to remove for maintenance? That's mm.
was that on Wilmington or was that somewhere else?
No, I took it to the place that does all of our work vehicles in Statesboro
Oh,
because
oh,
they gave me a deal on some tire pressure monitors. Because Subaru wants like $400 a piece for them, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll do them for $100." And I'm like, I can get all 4 done for the price Subaru wants. I'm going to drive to Statesboro.
Yeah, right.
And now I've spent almost $100 to do an oil change to replace some parts because Ugga I don't. I'm actually real mad about that. But let's go ahead and get into some stuff that we're not mad about in any way, shape, or form. And that is Pitt beating Georgia Tech.
Mm.
Pitt covered the 2.5. They almost covered 22.5. Over of 61.5 hit because defense was optional for Georgia Tech for the entire game and Pitt for the second half.
As it is for most of the year for Tech, but yeah.
That's fair. I talked about it when we talked on Thursday. In the month of November, Georgia Tech was allowing 41.5 points per game, and they allowed 42.
Yep.
So, I mean, the big thing about this one is not that I'm any less concerned about playing Georgia Tech because I'm not. I mean, we saw Haynes King score 28 points almost unanswered in the second half of that game by sheer will. But it's the fact that Georgia Tech's out of the playoff, right? Like, we're going to get into the scenario in which they play for the ACC. But
it ain't happening.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, hell has to freeze over, thaw, freeze again, and I have to ice skate in hell for Georgia Tech to make the conference title game, let alone win it, because they're going to be playing good teams that know how to play defense. So that's kind of the big thing about this one.
I mean, that's what Tech gets for not having senior day at home against Georgia and instead going to MBS and doing the Invesco
QQQ, yeah.
Which, oddly enough, that's I don't know if you guys saw it, but I don't know if they made it official, but I thought I saw that the cocktail party is also going to be named that when it's in Atlanta.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I will say that the fact that we're moving this game to Mercedes-Benz and having a big sponsor for it and a big name for it to get advertisers in, like, it's definitely not clean. It's definitely not old-fashioned, but I do hate it. So it's got that going for it.
Clean old-fashioned capitalism.
Yeah, I hate what they're doing to the game more than I actually hate Georgia Tech.
Which is saying something.
Yeah. I will say I was kind of like when MBS opened, I was kind of hoping in the back of my mind the only time I wanted there to be like a corporate sponsor for this game was the actual opening game at that stadium. I thought it would have been because they had talked about it briefly for them to play Georgia and Georgia Tech that opening weekend instead, and obviously that wasn't going to work. But they got the Florida State and Alabama game of the century, which knocked off FSU the first time they went into their dark spiral.
And then they never played again.
They just quit playing football after. In 2016, interestingly enough.
Yeah, another thing which for what we were talking about earlier, not to add to this, but I did just want to point out that last time Georgia Tech beat Georgia, PewDiePie was the most popular YouTuber in the world.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a little bit of a hot take that it's about the Georgia Tech rivalry, and it's mainly on how some younger Georgia fans just I don't understand it, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong because there's multiple social media accounts that we follow and they follow us, and these guys are like 19, 20 years old, and they talk about how Georgia Tech's their most hated rival and how if anything ever happens to this game, they're going to riot. And like, I hate Georgia Tech more than I love my family. And it's like, brother.
Try hard.
It's like, yo, Georgia Tech has beaten Georgia like twice in your life. What are you doing, my guy? Look, y'all, I'm about to turn 30. Georgia Tech has beaten Georgia so few times in my life. Pretty sure I can count it on one hand. Georgia Tech is like 5th at best on rivals that I hate.
I would say like Tech has only beaten Georgia once in Atlanta, I think, since you've been born. I want to say.
Look, call me old-fashioned. I don't hate Georgia Tech because of the frequency with which they beat us. I hate Georgia Tech because they are Georgia Tech.
I just
Mhm.
don't. Like,
I don't hate them as much as I hate anyone else that Georgia would consider a rival. I'm not saying that. Like, Florida, obviously I hate Florida more. I hate Auburn more. Hate Tennessee more. I hate Clemson more. I hate Alabama more. I hate Tech too, though. Come on. It's
It's
funny to
the
watch them lose.
it's the Tech people for me more so than anything.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't care
remember
about the
Oh,
that.
well, you
team.
might beat us in football every year, but at
Yeah,
least
but
I maintained a 4.0 GPA in high school.
yeah.
Shut up.
Mhm.
Georgia Tech had to get
Give me
investment
my coffee. Nobody
QQQ to
cares.
sponsor this game because that's where most of their players are going to work next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Look, congratulations. You're smart. You still kind of suck. And
Mm-hmm.
you only got good after your academic standards dropped for the football program. Just
Yeah.
just want to say that. No, I just like, dude, at this point, Texas goes over Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Ohio State probably goes over Georgia Tech just because of the way they reacted to
Yeah, I
that
mean,
Peach
and
Bowl game. Like, I just
I want to disagree, but we were all kind of rooting for Georgia Tech to do something this year, weren't we?
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
were
We all picked them to win the ACC.
like,
Or just about.
I don't know, man. Like, as a millennial Georgia fan, I don't necessarily hate them. I don't I don't I don't like root for them to lose every week. I just I'm more or less indifferent. Like, I appreciate Haynes King because
Yeah.
we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Haynes King is the kind of player that you can build a program around because he would rather die than walk off of that field with a loss. Now he's
Mhm.
walked off the field with a loss twice this year and he's still alive, so I question that a little bit. Um, but like I appreciate Haynes King. I love the story of an alumni coming back and revitalizing a football program. I think Brent Key is a phenomenal coach. Buster Faulkner is obviously a hell of an offensive mind, but like I don't I don't root for them to
Mm.
succeed or fail. I'm more or less just indifferent. Like, I want them to be good enough to make sure that I don't multi-view the Georgia game with something else going on. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, give me a reason to be invested.
And I've talked about it before too, even being a Georgia alumnus. This game would usually, I mean, up until last year, this game would be on at the same time as Michigan, Ohio State. I'm not watching this game live. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like I'm watching Michigan, Ohio State.
And up
So
until 2 years ago, you didn't have a reason to.
right. No, I didn't. And I would, flip back and forth or do multi-view with it, but I'm not with the sound on. Not with Dan Orlowski commentating.
Mm-hmm.
Is he commentating this year?
I don't think so. I
Because we
think he's
got
more of
Joe
an NFL
Tess
thing.
in that
Yeah.
insane game last year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He kept trying to force the Nate or the, I don't know, playoff thing at
Oh
that
yeah,
point.
it's great in 8, whatever.
Well, I think he was trying to force, with every score in overtime. It's like, oh, this is, Georgia's going to clinch a playoff spot. And it was like
Yeah.
eight,
Like,
8 times. People were irritated with it.
yeah, naturally. I just looked it up. It's Beth Mowens.
Are you being?
Is it
Are
really?
you?
No,
You're
I'm
lying.
I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding.
Don't do that, Dust.
Sounds like it's going to be Scott Howard to me.
Yeah.
I was about to say. Hey,
Let me
ESPN,
see if
y'all
they.
don't have nothing else going on Black Friday. Can we get the hometown radio call? Like, is that an option?
Yeah, I mean, you do it. You've done it for the national championship before.
Well,
Why not?
And
every neutral site playoff game gets it.
And they do it for like non-con basketball games too. Like every Georgia game up until like they played Xavier, I think. Like I think it was the hometown call like on TV, like on SEC Network Plus.
Yeah. Now they have not announced the TV lineup, announcer lineup for this game yet.
All right.
So I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, we can't be mad yet.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and get into the Georgia game because we get the chance to make me look like a conspiracy guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Let's enjoy the Georgia talk first.
So obviously Charlotte, they covered 42 and a half,
We
Shame.
stopped in the second half. Just came to a
Right.
screeching halt in the second half.
Well, I mean, that was just no injuries.
Yeah,
No
that was all it
injuries.
was about.
The under of 53 and a half hit, which kind of surprised me, especially after the first half. But I just, it it was what we expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my hope of force feeding Zachariah Branch for the entire game.
Oh, he got some looks though.
He did, but I was hoping
Got
for
about
like a
half the
buck
yards he was
50.
asking for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get um we didn't get to see like the backups run with the first string to get the quarterback more friendly in the system, running the full offense like I would have wanted. But I mean, as far as everything you could realistically ask for and expect in this game, we got it. Like Georgia
Yeah.
dominated every facet of the game. It's quite literally nothing to write home about. Got up big, took a lot of chances, ran the hell out of the ball in the second half to hopefully prevent any injuries. Game over.
Yep.
Yep.
Somebody has
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I was distracting myself looking up something. Yeah, so one thing that was reported by the SEC Network during this game, apparently Kirby Smart sat this team down and played clips from 2 games for his team on Friday night. The first was Georgia's game against Charleston Southern in 2021, in which they took a 49-0 lead at halftime. And the second was from last season's game against UMass, where Georgia was famously only up about 10 points in the third quarter. And so he asked this team which one of those 2 they wanted to be. And honestly, to me, that just sounds like 2021 Kirby Smart, who loves coaching football, is back, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we all know Kirby Smart hated that team last year, and it almost made him leave Georgia.
Man, I really think that he has spent a lot of time in the last few off seasons just getting people off the team that don't
Want to be there.
I don't necessarily want to say that don't value their spot at the University of Georgia more than they value themselves and their clout.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I hate to call out specific names that are not Carson Beck because he kind of brought it on himself with the press tour that he did talking trash about Georgia afterwards. But
Yeah.
Bear Alexander, true freshman, got a lot of snaps all season long, got multiple sacks in the national championship game, and dips out, enters the portal the morning of the spring game while he is at another school getting a paycheck. Now he's actually at his third school since. Like he's one of those guys that I think was run on, if we're
Mm-hmm.
being entirely honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kirby's just done that, and sometimes it was done before they ever got here. Talking about Patrick Mahomes Jr.
Yep.
Which he might transfer again too, because his younger brother decommitted from Nebraska, so that would be fun.
What? Matt Rule
Yeah.
raises the floor but doesn't increase the ceiling? No.
No.
Yeah, right. Perfect for that Penn State job. Yeah.
And they still don't have anybody, and Nebraska's season is pretty much over. So
Yeah.
Virginia Tech got a new coach before
Yeah.
Penn State.
that's wild.
But
All right, sorry to
that's-
interrupt you. I think I interrupted you at least.
Yeah, it's okay. It was worth it. Anyway, I do think we probably all would have loved to see more dominance yesterday, but what we saw was definitely not that UMass game.
No.
What I especially loved about it was all the young bucks decided they wanted to feast yesterday. Makes our my God, a freshman award really difficult to pick.
Mhm.
So you'll see what we did about it in just a minute. But yeah, just love watching the young guys eat, get all of these different touchdowns. Like 85 players on this roster are freshmen or sophomores, and having them all just go out there and say, "Now we're ready to take over this game," was really encouraging for what the rest of this season is going to hold.
Specifically, the defensive back room.
Yes.
The way
Yes.
the defensive back room this season has competed week in and week out, regardless of is Georgia up 40 points and you're coming in the fourth quarter, or are you in because somebody's a little banged up and needs a minute? No matter what, top to bottom, the defensive back room has competed like they have not since 2021.
Yep.
And good Lord, is it nice to see a defensive back room that wants to go out there and snatch some souls out of somebody.
Matt Stinchcomb, I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Matt Stinchcomb early in this game said this team is just full of people who like to hit people.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's it's nice to see a Georgia defense that has a propensity for violence.
Yes.
Yes. We've been asking for it for a few years since
Hmm.
what December of 2022. Kind of been like,
Hmm.
hey guys, we thought you hated everyone. What
Yeah. Can you
happened?
start punching people in the mouth again, please?
Yeah.
No, that was George Pickens.
Fair.
Javon Wims did it. Just he did it in the NFL
Yep.
to a Florida
True.
player, so that's top tier.
Fair. Yeah.
Mike, we've kind of talked over you. So what were you talking about?
No, I mean, like you guys were saying, I was not, I'm gonna probably butcher his name, but Daniel Okongwu, that interception that he had to stop the one like best chance that Charlotte had to score a touchdown, kind of that was nice.
Oh
Nice
yeah.
to see
I did
that
not want
fight.
them to get in the end zone there,
Yeah.
so I jumped out of my chair at that moment.
And that was kind of going back to like the 2021 thing where we're not really competing against like the other team. We're just trying to, or we are, but trying to keep them out of the end zone and just keep that score down.
Mm.
So that was nice to see that they were actually able to just hold them to a field goal. So that was cool. But I thought Elijah Griffin played like a man possessed
Oh
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to see that, and we'll talk more about him later. But he had two tackles, one sack, and I think he had another half tackle for loss. So he
If
was all over the
bodies
place, man.
moved to locations they don't want to go was a stat, he would have been racking that up.
Hmm.
If
Man,
whatever the reverse of a pancake block is.
Yes.
he's going to be a problem next year. I mean, he's kind of come into that, as of late. But I mean, he's going to be a real problem next year.
Mhm.
I'm excited about it.
And so we didn't really talk about it last week like we probably should have. CJ Allen not being in the game was
Yeah,
something that I think we potentially should have been more concerned about,
Yeah.
especially because he got hurt in the Ole Miss game, right? Or was it the
yeah.
Florida game?
He got banged up in the Ole Miss game, and then because we were thinking like, oh, thank goodness we have a bye, maybe he can get back healthy, and then he obviously
Hurt in the
re-aggravated it
Texas
against
game.
Texas.
Right.
Hmm.
So CJ Allen, the best linebacker Georgia's had, probably like true inside linebacker, quarterback of the defense. He's probably the best guy we've had since Roquan Smith on this team.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Yeah.
And him being out, and would you like to know what position the top three tacklers on Saturday were?
That I know who two of them are, so they were linebackers.
Yep. Inside linebacker, Justin
Inside. Yeah.
Williams. Inside linebacker,
Oh,
Raylan
okay.
Wilson. Inside
Okay.
linebacker, Chris Cole. Then you get to defensive backs. I just like
Yeah.
this team fights harder than the teams that we've
Hmm.
had, and I don't want to say it, but since when Carson Beck was a quarterback, nobody fought this hard
Yeah.
for two
Very true.
years.
And one thing that I was worried about with CJ Allen being gone, that the other guys don't 100% keep up with, but do it, as you mentioned, better than some of these last couple of years, is just being the guy who knows where the ball is going to go and attacks it. Like
Mm-hmm.
CJ Allen on every play just feels like when nobody else is running the direction of the ball, he knows exactly where it is and attacks it. And I think we saw that from all three of those other guys, which is why they were racking up tackles.
Hmm.
And again, just really encouraging stuff. If CJ Allen can't go, knowing we've got these other guys ready to go.
Yeah, no, I understand 35-3 is not like obviously Vegas thought it was going to be worse. I think a lot of Georgia fans thought it was going to be first. I think after the first half, Georgia fans thought it was going to be significantly worse. But like, if you have something to complain about in this game other than Gunner didn't throw the football a whole lot, like man, I don't know what you want to be happy as a Georgia fan
It was the
Yeah.
because
same. It was the same game plan as they had against Austin
Austin
Peay
Pay, it
Marshall.
just worked better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, Gunner threw a pretty bad pass for a pick. Gunner didn't. Gunner was just trying to see, okay, can my athlete beat that athlete if I just throw it in that
yep,
direction? That was all that was about. And honestly, I'm fine with it. I wish
Yeah.
he would do that more.
Mhm.
I'm trying to pull it up here because, like, I understand that we're all pulling for Gunner to do big things,
Mm-hmm.
and we all want to see him potentially in New York, right? And would it have helped if he had 300 yards passing in the first half and took his pads off in the locker room kind of thing? Sure, but Georgia is averaging 190.45 rushing yards per game, and for the rest of the season, if Gunner has the stat line of 196 passing yards, 9.3 yards per attempt, and we're anywhere close to that 190.45 rushing yards per game, Georgia's probably winning that game for the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Sure.
So quit complaining. Just generally quit complaining. Because I've seen Georgia fans actually upset with this game.
There's no reason to be. Genuinely
Yeah.
no reason.
Y'all want to get into awards because I gotta sound crazy at some point.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So for offense, we picked the guy that scored the most touchdowns, and it was Bo Walker. Because Bo Walker was scoring touchdowns, not even necessarily on plays that were designed to get him touchdowns. They were designed to get him first downs, and he just kept running because no one could tackle him.
Mm-hmm.
I
Uh,
know that I'm pretty sure we've said this a few times on the podcast. Is there anybody that's played for Georgia since 2017 that has looked more like Nick Chubb while running the football?
I was gonna say, man.
yeah, not
Yeah.
that I can think of. There's been some guys who have had certain attributes, but in terms of putting them together, and I mean, if your name is Bo Walker and you're playing running back, you gotta be
Yeah.
on your A game.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody knows what his full first name is, if it's more than Bo, please let me know legitimately because I've just yesterday I was yelling Bo Cephas, and I know
I
it's
was gonna say
probably wrong.
I don't care what it is. I don't care what it
Beauregard.
is. It's Bo Cephas.
I was gonna say Beauregard, but either way.
Beauregard is decent too.
No, I think the reason that his the way that he plays reminds me so much of Nick Chubb. Always both hands on his knees before the snap. Hardcore Nick Chubb thing. And also, it feels like his shoulder pads just come up a little higher on his helmet, like
Mm-hmm.
to his helmet, than a lot of other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently,
They
Bo
both
Walker
went to high schools that had the word cedar in the name somewhere. So
and Bo Walker's actual full legal name is Bo Walker.
is Bo Cephas. It is officially he is Bo Cephas Walker.
All right, Mike, you want to take defense?
All right, so defense is gonna go to Ellis Robinson. He had an insane interception in that first half of that game, and he has 3 picks for the year, and he's finally start not I shouldn't say finally, but he's really turning into that 5-star best overall defensive back that we had gotten last year's
The guy
recruit
we were
class.
asking for after the Tennessee game.
Mhm. He's gotten leaps and bounds better, I think, since
Oh yeah.
that game itself. So he, pretty soon for sure, one side of the field is going to be locked down next year. Again, another guy I'm looking forward to seeing grow even more next season. But yeah, Ellis Robinson, Defensive Player of the Week.
And then for the
Mr. Walker went 16 yards. He drove right over Orange Church, just driving and running with those big thighs. My God, a freshman.
player of the week, we have Daniel Okonkwo, freshman defensive back. Man, that interception was not something that you expect from a true freshman not named Malachi Starks.
Mm-hmm.
The body control, everything about that play was he's playing a lot older than he is, which I think it's guys like Daniel Okonkwo that's pushing Ellis to get better, pushing Dalen to not have his name called frequently because like he hasn't played as good as he did against Texas, but he hasn't had a game this season as bad as any of his bad games last year. Like he's found a middle ground, and it is an upper middle ground. And I think
And
it's
that's enough to
these.
get him drafted.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like true freshmen coming in fighting their ass off like Daniel Okonkwo that are pushing everybody else to get better because Kirby is the type of guy to be like, you know what? You allowed 2 touchdowns last week. Welcome to the bench, son. Daniel, get over here. And,
Mhm.
if that's the case, keep pushing because
hmm
if y'all keep playing like this, the season ain't going to be over quick. I'm about to lose my voice going through all these conferences. So who wants to take Lumberjack?
Mike, why don't you take Lumberjack since you were so high on him earlier?
Yeah, so our Gunner Stockton lumberjack of the week is actually going to Elijah Griffin. Like I mentioned before, let me pull it up real quick. Uh, he only had 2 tackles, which doesn't the numbers don't obviously add up to what he actually meant to this team, but 2 tackles. He did have a sack and then another half tackle for loss. He was all over the place, just whatever they needed him to do. He was running down guys. Like it was kind of, I don't want to say there's been like a lot of comparison of him to guys like Jalen Carter and Devontae Wyatt and guys like that. But I mean, he's definitely working his way up to making that a fair comp as a true freshman. So yeah,
I can see the
lumberjack goes to
Devontae
watch.
Wyatt a lot more than the
hmm
Jalen Carter. And that's just because Jalen Carter is a freak among freaks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what he is like, the man almost intercepted a spiked ball as a rookie in the NFL. Like
Mhm.
a
And
different
Elijah's
level.
running. Well, I will say one thing with Elijah, it just kind of like Jordan Davis used to do. He's running stuff down from all over the field. Like he's in
Yup.
every
hmm
frame, which you gotta love as a you
Which I
know
will say, usually it takes Kirby a couple of years to get guys in the position where they're willing to make those kinds of chases.
he's doing it all the time now. So
hmm
he's not going to be able to be denied to be on the field even more than he already is.
Yeah. High motor.
Mhm.
Um all right, we can't put it off anymore. And I am going to do my best to shout out the websites that I got these from, or in a couple of instances, the Reddit users who posted these, because there were some that were like, if this guy's not a college football journalist, he should be, because truly a thesis statement on the ACC. And I didn't write this
This
guy's name down.
I just looked at it now. Oh my God.
Oh,
There's so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, this is insane. I have actually gone through and taken the liberty of simplifying some of these fractions so you guys can really see just what these odds actually are.
Okay. Found it. So on the CFB Reddit, Cybotnik dash rebooted.
Mm.
Um, the ACC tiebreaker scenarios, all 64. He legitimately broke down all 64 ACC championship scenarios. I, I don't know what else I can say other than thank you because this was actually the most clear of any of the ones that I saw today. And just from some dude on Reddit who's a Syracuse fan. Shout out for your loss because
I was say for him to still do it and have Syracuse as his team, like shout out him.
Yeah, for real.
right, he posted that last night. So this might have been like a 2 edibles and a half a fifth of just drowning my sorrows
Mhm.
into stats, and that's the most Syracuse thing you could do. So for the ACC, and so another clarifier here for all these conference title situations, we are going in order of the current standings. So just to clarify it, it's going to be the team that has the least to do all the way down to the team that has the most to do. And so we're starting out with the ACC. Virginia beat Virginia Tech.
Easy.
And I got to be careful about when I say and or for the rest of the episode. Beat Virginia Tech or
Or
SMU loss or NC State and Syracuse lose. So they win, but if they lose,
they need a lot of
SMU
people
has
to
to
lose.
lose, or NC State and Syracuse have to lose. There's 3 scenarios for Virginia.
Okay.
SMU, just win. Or Duke lose, NC State lose, Pitt lose, and Virginia Tech lose. So they need 4 things to happen if SMU loses their game this week.
Who's SMU playing?
I believe it is Cal.
They just fired their coach.
Yep, and lost to Stanford by a lot of points.
Apparently, did y'all watch Cal handing over the axe at the end of that game?
No.
No.
So it's students. Cal students had to hand over the trophy to Stanford students, and they're all like locked arm in arm. But then Stanford football players were like, it looked like they were about to get real aggressive towards the Cal students, and it's like, yo, this guy learned about football in August. Like he
They
is
probably didn't even
straight
know
up,
there's a football team.
but he is a physicist from Shanghai. You're way too aggressive right now. He thought people of your size were a myth. But anyways, SMU plays Cal.
Okay.
So there we go. Pitt needs to win and SMU or Virginia Tech lose. And Pitt arguably has the toughest road left for teams that can make it because they play Miami. It is Miami in November in a cold environment. It is still a Miami team that is significantly better than you.
Yeah.
Yep.
For Miami, they need to win and one of the following things to happen. Virginia Tech and either Wake Forest or NC State win. So that's one scenario. Virginia Tech and Wake Forest or NC State. Scenario 2 is Cal, Wake Forest, and NC State all win their games. It's a lot. Miami's probably not making it. Probably not making it to the playoff either.
Rats. That's too bad.
Although one playoff scenario I saw had Miami playing in Oxford, where Carson Beck is already terrified, so not that
Let's
bad.
go.
And 2 more teams we got to talk about for the ACC. We got Duke.
Caleb's Duke team.
No, I have a lot of hatred for this Duke team. Don't put that on
He
me.
jumped in the transfer portal early.
I will say my bandwagon team of like Georgia Southern, yeah, they're not going to go to a bowl game.
How does Clay
yeah.
Helton still have a job?
They don't care. I actually saw a post saying that they should tear down the practice field and just put more free student parking in there because obviously they're not using the practice field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you saw just go look at like the box score of the Georgia Southern.
Disgusting. It's nasty.
Even if you're not a Georgia Southern fan, it makes you sad.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because it was senior night. Anyways, Duke.
Yeah.
Caleb's Duke team. They've got to win and Pitt lose, and either one of Cal or NC State lose, or Virginia lose, or NC State lose, and Virginia lose. Look, if y'all need that clarified some, one, go check out Cybotnik, whatever I said his name was. Again, Cybotnik Reboot, I think it was. RCFB on Reddit. Duke's scenario confuses me. I don't understand how you can lose to UConn and still be relevant in any way, shape, or form, but that's just beside the point.
Look, UConn's not a conference game. They can, they're on their way.
Yeah, but I feel like you should just be like, dude, you lost.
You lost to UConn. You don't get to get in here.
Right.
And then lastly, Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech has a much simpler path. It is a much less realistic path, but it is simple. And it is.
Because they don't have an ACC game.
Yep.
Yes. Georgia Tech needs SMU and Virginia to lose, and either Duke or Pitt to lose. Now, the likelihood of Pitt losing,
All of that.
not that bad. The likelihood of Wake Forest losing, or Duke losing, not that bad. They're playing a decent
'Cause they're
Wake Forest
Duke.
team. The likelihood of Virginia
I hate you
losing
so much, Duke.
not good, and SMU losing almost not. Like, let's put it like this: the sports book that I looked at earlier didn't have a Cal money line option.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
yeah,
That
so
game is...
I do want to go through because Cybotnik reboot just all time guy for this one. Odds of each game happening. SMU
Okay.
and Virginia happened in 18 of the 64 scenarios. Georgia Tech versus Pitt in a rematch, 8 of the 64. Pitt versus SMU, 8 of the 64. Pitt versus Virginia, 8 of the 64. And then it just gets down all the way to Georgia Tech versus Miami as 2 of 64.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, according to this, Georgia Tech has a legitimate chance to make it. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Georgia Tech's season, for all intents and purposes, unless their goal is just to try and hurt Georgia, ended last night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, the American Conference, and I just did screenshots on this straight up.
Yep.
It was a lot. I didn't necessarily understand the way it was worded, hoping you guys can help me out. But the American Conference, Yahoo Sports helped me out quite a bit with this one. So for Tulane, they're playing Charlotte. If Tulane wins, they clinch. They clinch. They're playing a Charlotte team that has won one game. I would say that they're pretty much winning and in. But if they lose somehow, some way, they need North Texas or ECU to lose, and they own the tiebreaker over ECU. So, and then it says they lose the tiebreaker to North Texas. Okay, I don't necessarily understand where that comes into play with that scenario, but all right. Um, were you guys as confused with that one, or am I just dumb?
It's pretty confusing, but I will say, if all Tulane has to do is beat Charlotte at home, they're fine.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So for North Texas, this says and their last game is versus Temple. I'm assuming at home because it doesn't say at Temple. Actually, I'll pull it up here just to be 100% certain of what I'm telling y'all. And we're looking at week 14. Yeah, it's at home. If
Okay.
North Texas wins out while Navy and Tulane both lose, North Texas is in the title game. If Tulane wins out, North Texas is still in if Navy drops one game. And Navy, who we will talk about in a moment, they play Memphis on Thursday night, while North Texas plays Temple on Friday. So North Texas knows what they need going into that game. If North Texas loses to Temple, they're pretty much done unless both Tulane and Navy lose. If it comes down to North Texas and Navy, they own the tiebreaker. So to me, it sounds like they need Navy to lose.
Yeah.
That's what it appears to me. But they're actually currently tied with Navy and have the tiebreaker.
So maybe not. Maybe
I
maybe they
don't
just need Navy to lose if they lose.
right. Yahoo Sports, you're the only people that had anything on the American Conference. But you could clarify this a little bit more.
Right.
Also, you're wrong about Navy's games left because they do play at Memphis this week, and
Yep.
then Army in
and then
2
Army.
weeks, which is a
Well,
conference
Army.
game, but it's out of
Oh.
like
It's not counted as a conference.
Yeah, I was
game.
gonna say because they play that after the conference championships and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all are wrong, but so all this American Conference information could just be entirely incorrect. Just transparency, but
Basically, the most likely path is Tulane versus North Texas. But if North
Which-
Texas loses, it looks like, or if either of them lose, Navy. I guess they need both of them to lose. Well, Navy can get in if they win and one of them loses. If Navy loses, it looks like they need both teams to lose.
Yes,
But
that's
again, who knows?
that's what I'm understanding. And so this says if Navy wins out, they reach the title game. Not according to the tiebreaker when they both have one conference loss. I don't understand it. Um, if Navy loses, they need Tulane and North Texas to lose because they don't have a tiebreaker of North Texas, and a two-loss Navy team is certainly out. So I don't get it, y'all. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
leave it.
this how can it be true that if Navy loses, they need Tulane and North Texas to lose, and a two-loss Navy team is almost certainly out. Those two things don't match up.
So currently, the American Conference standings: North Texas is in first, then Tulane, then Navy. So I don't understand how Navy wins. They get to the American Conference Championship game when they would have to jump over a Tulane team that's probably going to win and a North Texas team that's probably going to win. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't look. I don't get it. The American Conference is probably actually the most important in the country right now, and I don't understand it.
Right.
So it looks like it's going to be Tulane and North Texas, in which that is going to be absolutely appointment viewing, because North Texas has a very fun offense. So, um, East Carolina Pirates, they need help. Even if they win out, they need help. They need Navy and Tulane to both lose, but they lose the tiebreaker to Tulane, even though they have two losses in the conference. I don't. Once again, Yahoo Sports.
Yep. Who knows?
South Florida. Losses to Memphis and Navy block any path forward. They're out. I don't know why they even put this in the article.
Same thing with
I guess
Memphis.
just to let everybody know, hey, so people are looking up South Florida to see what their shot is, and you just want to tell them, oh, they don't have one.
Memphis, 3 conference losses remove them from contention. That's how many conference losses they have. Once again, I'm confused. Why did you put this? But you know what? Y'all are the only people that had any information on the American Conference. So thanks for that.
Fair enough, I guess.
All right, Big Ten. And shout out Fansided for this because they had pretty clear what needs to happen. Like this was straight up copy and pasted from their website. So Indiana winning in. Lose, and if Indiana loses to Purdue, which
No.
right, if Indiana loses to Purdue, Ohio State has to beat Michigan for Indiana to play for the Big Ten. Ohio State winning in, lose to Michigan, and they're almost always out. Once again, copy and pasted from Fansided. So Ohio State fans, if you don't like it, one, please quit listening to our show. We don't like you. Second, I just mathematically, you have to do something that you have been incapable of doing for years and beat Michigan. Caleb, do you need to talk to the Ohio State fans?
I sure do. Thank you for reminding me of that. Got multiple tabs open here. Yes, I would love to talk to Ohio State fans for a minute, because just in the last 24 hours, I've seen multiple screenshots from Ohio State fans posting the final score of their game against Rutgers, 42-9, by the way, and comparing it to the final score of our game against Charlotte. They beat Rutgers, if you don't know, by 1 or 2 more points than. Let me confirm this before I talk, so I don't sound stupid. So they beat Rutgers by 1 more point than Georgia beat Charlotte, and they think that's super impressive for some reason. They think that tells them, okay, yeah, Ohio State's definitely a better team than Georgia. Georgia only beat their cupcake by 32, and we beat our cupcake by 33. And yes, I am calling Rutgers and Charlotte equivalent. What they will not no. What they won't tell you is that Ohio State's first team offense played the entirety of 3 quarters and was only up 28-3 at that time. And the only reason they were up that much is because Rutgers fumbled on their own 1-yard line. The backup quarterback at Ohio State had more consistent offensive success than Julian Sayin did. I keep looking at Ohio State play football, and I'm not saying they're not good, But I don't understand why Ohio State fans are acting like they're unbeatable because they beat a really, at the time, really bad Texas team and have just munched on cupcakes every week since then.
Yeah, and so I don't. Here's the thing: like you can say that you can't say for sure that Ohio State's not good. I can't say for sure that they are.
Right.
Like they beat up on the bottom half of the Big Ten, which is worse than the top half of the American Conference, and they're pounding their chest like they deserve to be unquestionably no, like they shouldn't even have to play for their conference. Like they should just get a first round bye. And it's like, guys, if Club and Baby Seals 11 weeks in a row gets you
Hmm.
that, then congratulations. Why do we have a 12-team playoff?
Right.
Right.
Mike, you can save your Ohio State hate for later in the week if you would like to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you gotta keep it bottled up to just explode.
It's gonna get progressively worse as we go. Like Caleb just talking about it now, just awoken an anger in me that I hadn't had in a while.
It doesn't help that I said Ohio State. The only way you can play for the conference is doing something you haven't done in thousands of days.
Yeah.
Literally thousands of days.
Good
Um,
luck.
Oregon, they have to win out, and they need Ohio State to lose to Michigan. So, and Michigan to play, you beat Ohio State. I think Oregon scenario and FanSided was a little bit lacking on the details here, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Oregon's scenario involves Indiana
Indiana losing.
losing and
Yeah.
Michigan beating Ohio State, and then it's actually a Michigan and Oregon Big Ten championship instead of what's currently projected, which is Indiana versus Michigan, because Michigan's not going to lose to Ohio State.
Let me see. If everything is chalk, actually, right now, because of conference opponents' win percentage, if Michigan beats Ohio State and everything else is chalk, Oregon will go to the Big Ten championship game and not Michigan.
That's funny. I think that's what the Big Ten wants.
Yeah.
You could possibly get two Big Ten. Well, no, I guess. Never mind. I was gonna say two Big Ten teams with a bye, but if Ohio State loses, they're not gonna bye. I wouldn't
No,
think.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, to Michigan's help, Oregon is playing at Washington. Washington has lost one home game in the past 4 years. So
Yeah, I actually had in my playoff, our little playoff predictions earlier this week, I predicted that Washington would beat Oregon this week. And I will probably do that again if we end up picking that game.
yeah, I don't know what we're picking this week. Still trying to.
So many games.
So many good ones. Also, can we just talk about while we're taking shots at the Big Ten? Illinois lost by 17 points to Wisconsin, and Illinois was ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Like Burt is just a disgrace to the rankings every time he gets an opportunity. And how? I don't. All right.
I don't get it.
Wisconsin pisses me off because they suck when they shouldn't. First off, I don't have like I kind of like Wisconsin, I guess, but then like when a team's ranked, you're just like, oh, football. That's what we're playing this week. I don't.
My major beef with Wisconsin is they're too cowardly to go capture the Upper Peninsula for Michigan. So
Yeah.
Fair.
tells you all you
And
need to
those
know
are your
about it.
people.
I mean, to be fair, the UP doesn't want anything to do with Michigan. They want to be their own state. They want to, but it is what it is. They're bigger Packer fans anyway. They don't associate with us trolls.
Good. They like winning.
We'll see.
I'm just trying to get Mike
This
fired up.
Packers this Packers Lions game Thanksgiving is going to be.
Oh, are
I
they
mean-
playing Thanksgiving? You know I pay attention 10% of the time. It's mostly just
I
to
pay-
get you worked up.
I pay attention 10% of the time, all the time.
All right, let's get into the Big 12 because once again, somebody on Reddit just shout out to you, and this was Max Wasson. If that's a sexual reference, I don't get it. But Texas Tech clinches a Big 12 title berth with Texas Tech win or Arizona State loss or BYU loss and Kansas loss. Pretty much Texas Tech is in. Who is Texas Tech playing? Because whoever it is, they're probably better than.
I feel like that's like Houston or someone like
West
that. I'm not
Virginia.
looking at. Same difference, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
same
playing
team.
at West Virginia, so
That might be something. The weather might be crappy.
Texas Tech are 20.5-point favorites. So there's that.
Yep.
BYU clinches Big 12 title game berth with a win or Arizona State loss or Utah and Texas Tech loss. These win and in scenarios are just so much easier than
because Arizona State has Arizona, and obviously Arizona is not what they were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So Utah clinching Big 12 title game berth with a win plus Arizona loss plus UCF loss plus Texas Tech loss. And that was realistic because UCF's playing at BYU and Arizona's playing at Arizona State. And then you have to have West Virginia beat Texas Tech. So probably not making it. But Arizona State.
Utah is going to Kansas, for the record.
Yes.
Kansas is 5-6.
They started so well, too. Just come on. Arizona State clinches a Big 12 title game berth with one of three scenarios. And this is three scenarios in which three things have to happen. So it's going to sound complicated, but it is Arizona State win plus a BYU loss plus a Kansas loss is the first scenario. Second scenario, Arizona State win plus BYU loss plus Texas Tech loss. Third scenario, Arizona State win plus Utah loss plus Texas Tech loss. So Arizona State's probably out.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And then the rest of this is how the top three teams could not be in, like how they could lose out of contention. I don't think that necessarily matters a whole lot because the top three contenders have reasonably easy games. Yeah, BYU's playing
Very true.
playing a UCF team late November in the mountains. UCF might as well not show up for that one. Not even trying to be a hater, but Central Florida, where it was 80 something degrees this week, to go into the mountains in November. Not like y'all are going to be trying to decide if I should say this phrase that I learned in the military. I'll say it. UCF, y'all gonna be sucking dick for beer money because it's gonna be a struggle trying to do what y'all are trying to do this week. All right, y'all ready to get in the SEC?
Yeah, let's get into the wild one.
So, top one, real easy. Texas A&M beat Texas.
Just win. Yep.
And now if Texas A&M loses, because there are so many one-loss SEC teams, for Texas A&M to lose to Texas and get in, they need Bama loss and Ole Miss to lose. Is the way that Texas A&M gets in with a loss. Alabama, and this, I'll be honest, this confuses me. I don't, hands up, Alabama, they beat Auburn, or Texas beats Texas A&M, or they beat Auburn, Mississippi State beats Ole Miss, or beat Auburn, win three-way tie with Ole Miss and Georgia based on SEC opponent winning percentage. So Alabama has to beat Auburn, but things can happen with an Alabama win that still result in Georgia or Ole Miss getting in ahead of Alabama. Is what I'm understanding on that one.
Okay.
So it's everything's possible for the SEC is what I'm understanding. Georgia gets in if Auburn beats Alabama or Texas beats Texas A&M or win the three-way tie with Alabama and Ole Miss based on SEC opponent winning percentage, which, if I'm not mistaken, involves Auburn winning anyways. So I'm confused.
Yeah, Kentucky can't give us any help because they're playing a non-conference game.
Yep.
And I think everybody else.
Yeah, Vandy, Tennessee.
Texas beating Texas A&M would help, but that would get us in anyway.
Tennessee beating Vanderbilt would help, but it would also
not really
help Alabama, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the one that we're close to is Alabama, and I think that only got worse this week.
Yep. So I don't look, y'all. The SEC is confusing. If mred.bball, if you want to go through and play all these out yourself, there's a million ways you can play it out. Not really. There's only like 12, but
yep.
Ole Miss, they get in by beating Mississippi State, and Texas beats Texas A&M, and Auburn beats Alabama, or they beat Mississippi State, win a three-way tie with Georgia and Alabama based on SEC opponent winning percentage. I don't understand how they're capable of that either at this point, because every team that they beat, well, the only thing that would help them is Oklahoma beating LSU, because they beat Oklahoma, Alabama lost to Oklahoma. That's it. That is the only thing that can happen this week that would help Ole Miss's winning percentage over Georgia or Alabama. And that's it. That's the SEC. There's four teams, but it's probably the most confusing because the math doesn't map anymore.
I will say I am going through. I can't really find a scenario in which Georgia ends up with a higher opponent winning percentage than Alabama. I find one where I can make them the exact same.
But then it goes to head-to-head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't. It's my understanding, and like I said, Brad Crawford wrote this, so I do die a little bit inside every time I quote him. But also in this instance, half of what he wrote doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I don't know.
It's too bad we're not doing divisions because it'd be a lot more cut and dry that way.
Yeah, there have been more people calling for divisions in the last few days than I have seen in a while.
Well, because they've had this stupid tiebreaker system for 2 years, and I don't think anyone's ever been happy about it. We thought it'd be a problem, when they introduced it for the first time.
Well, they introduced it like 3 weeks before the season and said, "Yeah, sure, we don't need time to figure this out."
Right.
Like, whoa, all right, guys. If that's how you want to play it. So the Fun Belt is the last one we're talking about because it's pretty easy. James Madison, they're in. Undefeated in conference play. Every other team in their division has 2 losses because they still have divisions.
As God intended.
Southern Miss. How do they get in to play James Madison? Beat Troy. Who? They're playing this weekend. So how does Troy get in? Beat Southern Miss. That's it. That's it. We're done. That is the Sun Belt. They're playing to play James Madison next week. So easy.
Yep.
I do actually want to pull up because I think James Madison has beat one, if not both of those teams this year. Also, shout out James Madison for getting through the entire season with 1 loss and beating Washington State.
And they should have, honestly, beat Louisville, and this wouldn't even be a thing. They would be the group of 5 team, for sure.
But no, they have not played Southern Miss or Troy this year. So it's definitely going to get interesting. If y'all are listening to this and you're like, "Hey, John, none of that made sense. You just wasted 30 to 45 minutes of my life." Sorry. I will copy and paste this into a message or an email and ask you to figure it out because I need help. I'm confused. I feel like I wasted half the day.
Yeah.
I didn't help anybody.
Yeah, and chances are the most likely scenarios in these, or at least one of the top three in each of these, is probably going to play out.
Yeah.
But you can never count out chaos during rivalry week.
No,
Mhm.
absolutely not. Like who predicted Wake Forest was going to beat Georgia Tech?
Mm, They didn't.
Yeah.
No, who did beat Georgia Tech?
NC State.
Pittsburgh and
Oh
NC
yeah.
State.
Yeah.
NC State. That's right. They almost lost to Wake Forest. They went to overtime.
They should have
Mhm.
lost it. Yeah. And they should have lost to BC.
Georgia Tech should have lost almost every game this year,
Mhm.
just based on defensive numbers. Anyways, we are still trying to work it out with Rec Talk to get him on at some point this week. Being a condensed week, uh, it's going to be a little bit tougher. So if we don't get an interview with Rec Talk, it's not because we don't like him. It's not because he doesn't like us. It's just because a condensed week. We're struggling to find time. But either way, we are going to get a preview episode out to you guys, hopefully Wednesday morning. Hopefully Wednesday morning. Um, and then so that way, you can listen to it while your in-laws are talking about how good their petunias are doing on Thursdays. Have an
Or
earbud
while
in.
you're or
Don't worry
while you're
about it.
going on a walk with your cousins.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Put us on the Bluetooth for that walk.
All
But if y'all want to follow us or message me to tell me I wasted your time and you would like the notes to tell me how wrong I am, follow us on social media at nothing.finer.pod on Instagram, at finerpod on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just look us up and you can find us there. Um, you know what? Happy Thanksgiving. If y'all don't listen to the show again before we get to the end of the week, to hell with Georgia Tech, and there's nothing finer in the land.
And a drunk,
Nothing
obnoxious
about
Georgia
Georgia.
fan.